Comics Inebriated, a podcast about the history of fiction and nonfiction in comics, along with current events, hosted by comic creators Liana Kangas and permanent guest Matt Emmons.
Hello everyone, welcome to Comics Inebriated. I am Liana Kangas and I'm here with permanent guest Matt Emmons. Matt, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine plus dandy.
Fine plus dandy? That's an interesting mix. Well, you know what else is an interesting mix? The guest that we have today. And by interesting mix, I have no idea what I mean by that. But his name is Gavin Smith and I love him very much. He's a great guy. Hey Gavin, how are you?
Hey Liana, hey Matt, what's going on?
It's fantastic.
We are joined by Gavin today, and he is one of my favorite people on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
You will probably eventually know why, but before we get into that, Gavin, what are you drinking today?
Today we have Old Forester 1920 Kentucky Straight Bourbon. It's the Prohibition Style, which was gifted to me by my lovely wife Niki, I think on Christmas or maybe my birthday. I don't know. I've just been kind of nursing it for a while, but I'm going to drink a little bit of that today and chasing it with a good old-fashioned Miller Lite.
Oof.
Yeah.
You're a hero.
I'm not going to call it. Miller Life brings me back to college.
Yeah, it's like I'm having flashbacks.
Just the dark ages of my life.
Yeah, it's kind of just like, for me, it's just like, it's a chill beer. Like, I'm not getting hammered on that.
No one's having a chill time.
This is incredible.
I'm trapped.
It's by far probably the most Floridian sounding drink, and I am here for it.
I'm just
perfect.
I'm back in college, and then I'm drifting through this nightmare, and then a little glimmer reminds me, you were here to talk about college?
Sort of.
Like, sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
What were you going to talk about?
So, I'm going to be talking about Joe Kubert today, and this starts in the way back in 2007?
Before color TV,
yeah. Back when, we didn't even have calculators yet.
What were cell phones? 2007 was the year that you actually went to the Kubert School, right?
I went in 2008, but this whole thing started, I think, the 2007 New York Comic Con. I was living in Kokomo, Indiana, and I knew I wanted to go to the school, and I had just gotten a job where I was able to collect comics again.
And for listeners that don't know what this school is, can you give like a little bit of backstory?
Sure. It's basically like Joe Kubert founded the school in 1976, and it's basically comic book boot camp. A lot of great creators have come and gone through the school. Guys like Steve Bissett, Rick Beach, like a lot of the old Swamp Thing guys, Kim DeMolder, Adam and Andy Kubert, his kids, obviously, Tom Mandrake, Jan Drusema, Gary Brown, Chris Mooneyham, me, but
the legend.
Yeah.
The legend.
Yeah. There's like a ton of people, and you meet people all the time and that have come through the school, and once you meet them, you find out they went there, you instantly have something to talk about. It's crazy. Even if you're just meeting for the first time, and you just sort of like, oh, we got a lot of shit to talk about. Okay, here we go. So I was buying comics again, and I wasn't sure if it still existed, but then I'm popping a beer.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah. So in about 2007, I saw the ads that were still in the books, and I was like, oh, cool. I still want to go to this school. So I started building a portfolio, applied, and my dumbass sent, because they wanted originals. I sent a portfolio. I swear to God, it was huge. It was about the size of like my drawing desk.
The one that has the handles on it,
yeah. But it was huge. Like I'm not even kidding. Okay,
like a 2 foot by 3 foot.
Right, like I have this folding table right here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
No exaggeration. It was like this. And then not only that, I boxed it up And so I could only find like this gigantic box, filled it with packing peanuts, and sent it off there. And they like, and I even like included a money order for them to ship it back to me. And they just kept the money order. And when I eventually got there, they were just like, "Here you go, you can have this."
Oh, that's kind of thing. That's yeah.
Was Joe Kubert the one that opened it, and he's like, "Who is this child, and who is sending us a money order?"
Well, no, so it started. This guy named Mike Chin, who's been at the school forever, probably a little bit after since the beginning of it. But he was a student there, and then he became one of the administrators, and so he does every interview and every interview to do. He's so deadpan that
That's stressful.
oh, it's incredibly stressful because you're doing this interview and you don't know how it goes. So he's looking at your art, he's not complimenting it, he's not insulting it.
Oh my god, that's my worst nightmare.
He just goes, "Okay, I see." And then it got to like a section where I was doing my own little comic because I'd done a lot of stuff. At the time, I was delivering newspapers all over the state of Indiana. So Chicago Tribune and New York Times. And what I would do is I would save the front page of every issue that came out, and I'd come home and that would be my drawing exercise that day. I'd just draw whatever the front picture was on the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had my comic that I was working on at the time that I submitted because to show him I could do sequentials. And when he got to the comic pages, he's just like, he asked me about like the first two, and he's like, "All right, I see we got more of the same here." Like he didn't even look at the rest of and comment on that. And I'm like, "Oh shit, how is this going?" And then I was freaked out, and I didn't know how it went. Problem was, I was at my apartment. I think it was about February, and if I were going to go to the school that year in August or September, I had to figure out if I was going to re-sign my lease. And so
you needed to know then.
Now,
right away.
yesterday, yeah.
So yeah. I didn't ask them, but like a couple weeks later, I waited.
I'm sure you could have just been like, "Sir, I see you are deadpan, but can you please give me an answer right now?"
I called,
you don't know that there.
Yeah,
I called back and I talked to like this sweet office ladies they have there. I think it was Luis. And I just basically just like told him my situation. I was like, "Hey, I've got this apartment and I want to come to the school, but if I can't, then I've got to figure out where I'm living, and I'd like to stay living here. But if I'm coming to the school, then my lease is up and I'm out, I'll see you there." And she told me I got in. I freaked out. And I was like, "Oh, cool." Like moved out of my apartment back to my dad's house for a couple months, and then moved out there. But before all that, before I had the interview and everything, I went out to New York Comic Con for my very first time ever going to New York. And I decided I was going to New York Comic Con, staying with my friends while I was out there. Riding the subways for the first time.
A lot to do on the first time.
It's a stressful experience,
Especially
to go to the Javits Center on your first experience to New York.
Yeah, but not only that, you got to take into effect that there's no cell phones. Yeah, well, there cell phones existed. I had a cell phone, but I had it wasn't a smartphone.
A Motorola Razr.
Yeah, there was no way for me to MapQuest thing, so I had printed out instructions on how to get it, So right.
I missed MapQuest.
Yeah, so I had MapQuest, printed out instructions how to get around New York, and so I also this is my first, I'd say, major comic convention that I'd ever been to. I'd been to a couple others, like wizard shows, and so I'm just walking around this thing fucking lost. Can I curse?
Aimless. Oh,
okay.
Absolutely.
I imagine.
Yes, yeah. I'm glad we're keeping. Yeah, we're keeping it in.
So I'm just fucking lost walking around, but I'm able to find the DC signing booth, and I realized that day, Adam and Andy Kubert are going to be signing at the DC booth. So I get in line, or I try to. I missed the time frame to get in line, and the line's cut off. So I literally just chilled at the DC area waiting for their signing to be over, like a stalker. And
This
This
rarely
child,
works
I
out for
can't.
people, I'll have
Yeah.
you know.
yeah, and so Adam leaves the booth, and I go up to him and I'm like, "Hey, Adam!" And at this point, I had been accepted to the school, but like I wanted a kind of a head start to know what I was getting into, and I started talking to Adam. He introduced me to his daughter because he was walking with her, and I felt real bad because I was like, "Oh, this seems really creepy." Like he's with this kid now, and he's not. He's not at a signing now. Now he's off the signing, so now I'm like bugging him in his personal time. But whatever. So I was like, "Hey, I just wanted to find the school booth so I could talk to your dad and see what I needed to do to get ready." And we talked for a little bit. He pointed me in the right direction. Then I got to meet Mike Chin, the guy who interviewed me. And then I sat down with Joe. And this is where it starts to get good.
This is the Joe moment.
Good. Are you about to take a drink?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a break. Let's take a drink.
Okay. So I get to the booth and I meet Mike Chin, who done the interview, and I see Joe, and I'm just kind of waiting. I think he's talking to someone else, so I kind of wait patiently. And it's very weird because I don't get really nervous around like celebrities and stuff, but like, it was like meeting Joe Kubert for the first time. I was like, oh shit, that is Joe.
Were you even with his son? Were you like
a little bit, but he was like, I don't know. Adam is a very charming person in real life, so it's like really easy to talk to.
He makes you feel good around
Oh, he
him,
makes you
so
feel
it's
very
not
comfortable.
stressful.
Yeah,
Okay.
Adam's a super cool dude.
Yeah.
And then so I get to meet Joe, and Joe's super sweet and super nice as well. I wait for him, and I introduce myself. I'm like, "Hey, I'm Gavin Smith. I'm going to be coming into the school this year, and I wanted to show you my work to see if, what do I need to do to get ready?" Because we've got like, at this point, this was back when New York Comic Con was in the spring before fall. So way old times.
Yeah, I made a face that people can't see because I don't ever recall it being before October.
Yeah, us young whippersnappers never knew such a thing.
You say young. Gavin and I are the same age.
Well, I've never been to.
I'm 35. Are you 35?
I'm 33 on Monday.
I'm 40.
Goodness. Are you really?
No. I'm not 40. No. I'm 25.
Okay.
No.
You're such an asshole.
I'm sorry.
So,
snappers.
your damn kids and your Roy Orbisons and your hula hoops and Pac-Man video games.
That's what you were saying to Joe Kubert.
Yeah, no, he was saying that's me, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like,
I was 21 at the time.
yeah,
so.
he's like, your pictures on your phone. Yeah, he's losing it.
Yeah. So he sits down and he's like, "All right, let's see your work." And of course, I had a giant size portfolio at the time. Again,
2 feet long. Yeah.
I pulled it out, and of course, all the pages are 11 by 17 because I at least knew that. That's how big you're supposed to draw. That's about all I knew. So he's looking at everything, and he just takes it all out, sets it on his lap. Here, tilt this for effect. So he puts it on his lap, and then just starts every single page.
For those who can't see,
sorry.
It's much like you're flipping through, a record box.
Yeah, he's taking each page and
gently
putting it up to his chest, not saying a word,
observing each one. Seems for a couple seconds,
And it takes about,
Is he shaking his head as well like that?
No, he's just
okay.
He's
just gently
it's
looking.
motionless.
I would burst into dust. I'd be like, "This is taking so long," and I screwed it all up.
Feels like an eternity.
Yeah.
It was 5 seconds.
And here's the thing, like, I haven't really at this point had any formal art training besides like high school. I'd done a little bit when I went to Ball State, but like it wasn't really like I didn't really know what I was doing as far as this stuff yet. I was kind of imitating to the best of my ability. And so he takes everything, stacks it, sets it back down on his lap, looks me dead in the eye, and is like, "You're inking too much because you don't know what to leave in and what to leave out." And then
wow,
like
I got the same.
It just gives me all these things.
Advice.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
And like, but not only that, it's I've never heard anybody say anything like that before. And he proceeds to like give me like the best critique. I can't for the life of me remember all of it now, but like he's telling me everything, and it's like cutting through like not in a bad way. It's just like, holy shit,
Yeah.
you're a genius.
Like
And
things you had no idea conceptually, like
but that you need, you
when
need
you
to know.
hear it, you're like, that is the most observational shit. How does my brain not work?
right,
that way?
right.
Now that you've said it, it all makes sense, and it's like everything's unlocked
Things start
in my brain.
clicking and clicking
Yeah.
and clicking.
And that would be a tall order to ask you to already have known for no reason.
Right. So, then he's like, you're coming to the school, right? You said you got in. I was like, yeah. He's like, you're going to learn so much more in the first month being there than you have, like, your whole life drawing. I'm like, shit, okay.
That is a confident. That's a pull quote for the school.
And he's got like a deep voice. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love the retelling of his accent is by far now my favorite part. Of this entire podcast.
So after that New York Comic Con, spent a couple more days in New York, did my thing, made my way back home, and drew my ass off for the next couple months.
Literally.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
Like it's just not even there anymore. It's crazy. So,
oh my God,
I packed my whole life into my PT Cruiser.
I still can't believe you had a PT.
That's the twist.
No longer friends. Yeah, that's the
we've talked about
that's the marketing image. We're gonna Photoshop you in a PT Cruiser. I hope you know.
I hate it. I fucking hate it. Niki would have never married you with a PT Cruiser, would she? Like,
the fake wood? Did you have the fake wood paneling on the side?
No, I didn't. I wish.
I can still talk to you, so that's good.
So, and man, I had that thing lasted. It was so reliable too. Say what you will about how it looks.
I will say it.
That thing
looks
got
bad.
Me from like Indiana to New Jersey for 3 years straight. And not only that, like every vacation,
my Honda Civic could do that. Like I refuse.
A horse could do that. I don't know.
But the maneuverability.
I found one thing that I can make fun of you for. Don't take this away from me. All right.
Saddest story is how it died.
You had to take it out into the field out back, right?
No, I left it.
Broke its leg.
It was outside of my apartment. I had it up until about 2012, 13 maybe.
Okay.
And then
when did you and Niki get married? 2015?
2018.
Yeah, she had no way of
knowing. I met her in 2015, so it died before it got
good.
Niki.
Yep. Yeah.
It had to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like
it was meant to be.
Literally just parked on the street, and somebody was trying to pass another person, and then like fishtailed them into like 4 cars, and somehow my car got the worst end of the deal. It was totaled. And then not only that, I was parked behind a friend of mine, so my cruiser like smashed up his car too. So
was his a PT Cruiser too?
No.
I feel like somebody saw that PT Cruiser and was like,
book this.
I'm gonna help this. I'm gonna help this guy out and just.
But so anyway, it's crazy because I listen. I also managed to pack my entire life into that PT Cruiser.
You fit your huge portfolio into that PT Cruiser. That's impressive.
Honestly, yeah.
Only that. That's
desk, like 600 DVDs because Netflix wasn't a thing that then.
Did you put it in the binder or did you actually physically keep all of the DVD
boxes?
Boxes?
Wow, you're not a binder guy.
Nope.
Okay,
I love it.
I'm fine with. That's less than
I also like the presentation because I also
you're a collector.
Yeah,
clearly.
it's that less than the PT Cruiser blow. Yeah,
that's like getting rid of the cover of the.
It's like getting rid of the DVD.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
And let's see. I think I even packed away like a plywood like bookshelf so I could store all said.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I brought a shelf
like,
to my. I brought a shelf. No, I brought a shelf.
Put
to my
another car into this car is actually how I managed to. It's like Ramona's purse. You just keep fucking putting shit in
It's
there.
like a clown car. But like it's so awkwardly angled that like surprising shit can fit in it.
That's the sleek, shitty design of PT Cruiser.
But
If a 20-something-year-old
genius
can
of
move,
Chrysler to do that.
if he can move all of his DVDs and his, his records or his comics and how many
Yeah.
long boxes, like boom, done.
And then clothes. I didn't bring up all my.
right, well,
What do you?
I-
Well, who? You're wearing them. What else do you need?
Yeah, you
Done.
fit it into a bag.
You're going to an art school. There's There's no guarantee that you changed clothes.
Oh, and a TV. Let's not forget flat.
Oh, those
are not
1,400-pound TVs.
CRTV.
Yeah,
CRTV.
it was a giant fucking thing that like gave you a hernia.
800 pounds. Yep.
Not
Just about.
yeah, give or take. So yeah, that was quite a.
8 people carried that TV into your dorm at the Kubert School.
And
I did have someone help me with that. I was there. I was like, "Yo, you want to help me with this TV?" And they're like, "Sure."
I fucking knew it. Yes.
did Joe help you himself?
No.
Oh.
I mean, are you sure?
So we
Because he
get
sounds
there.
like a stand-up guy.
With that voice, I feel like he could lift a TV on his own.
You didn't see Joe unless it was at the school. Joe did have an open door policy though. So like his office was pretty accessible, and as long as he wasn't helping anybody else out, you could go into his office and talk to him and get critiques and stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is wild. But we get there and we're all living in the mansion. Not all of us, but like a lot of the first years, about half the first year students live in the mansion. And if you're a girl, you live in the carriage house that's attached on the property. But there were only like 4 or 5 girls in our class, and I think 4 of them actually lived in that carriage house.
I've already heard the story, which is why I'm surprised.
How many was the whole class though? 3,000
people, right?
No.
Oh.
Like 40 at the beginning of the first year it was 46, but when we graduated it was down to like 20.
But there's only like a select few of you on campus because a lot of people lived off campus.
Oh,
there were
okay.
there were some
Okay.
people that like got their own apartment.
Okay, this makes more sense.
Like it was like a dorm, but it was called
Yeah.
the mansion, and the mansion was originally the old school. And
That is so cool.
And then Joe,
I want to go back.
Have you ever been?
No, I wanted to go back to school.
Oh, okay.
For this, I'm sorry.
So the mansion was the old school, and Joe bought Adam and Andy's old junior high school and converted that into what is now the Kubert School.
You got school money? Damn.
And then,
well, you have to realize
and then,
that
but he sold
Jersey
half
has
of
like
it.
a whole bunch of like townships and weird parishes. That
Oh my
have
god,
tiny.
that was the weird thing about Dover, where like you could like I forget like the surrounding areas around it, but like you could be in like Rockaway just by taking the wrong turn. Like
Jersey.
I don't know this.
Laid out state of all time. Having lived there myself, when Gavin told me that he had went to Kubert, I was like, "Oh, cool! That was only 30 minutes away from me." However, it could be 30 minutes on a good day or an hour and 30 on a bad day. Like, period. That's what
it's
Jersey
like
is.
80 or 10 or whatever. 36.
To
and
me,
like you miss one exit, you're fucked.
Oh yeah,
that's like another 35 minutes added onto your commute.
To me, I've been to Mike's Pastries in Hoboken, New Jersey, and that's it.
Dope. I love
that. That is technically almost
an
arc, so I don't.
Well, that's all. New Jersey is just a long Mike's Pastry to me. I'm sorry, I know nothing else.
But again, like you were saying,
but yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
purchased the school
and then sold the back half. He sold the back half of it to a Walgreens. That's right behind it. So they could.
A Walgreens?
A Walgreens that was behind the school, which we went to like every day, like, you know, to get like drinks and shit for lunch. But
that's really cool.
Yeah. And he's just like, they wanted to expand their parking lot, and he's like, buy it from me. And he did.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, to even just be at a college, like I remember growing, like, sorry to make this 10 times longer. I remember going up in college and being like, oh, I have to drive everywhere. I got to drive to the 7-Eleven. It's
my God.
You don't walk fucking anywhere.
Oh,
okay? Like,
yeah. You went to Florida. Yeah.
But everywhere I lived outside of Florida, everything's walkable. Everything.
Well, we had to drive from the mansion to the school. It was like far enough away that it was annoying.
Was it more than a mile?
Yeah, because it was like because I think the school, or I'm sorry, the mansion was technically, it's weird because going back to the way fucked up way Jersey is, I think like the carriage house was technically in Wharton, but the mansion on the same
I'm
property
sure there was a jug
in
handle
Dover.
for you to drive. Yeah.
Yeah. But
there's no left-hand turns in Jersey for all of you that think that that's a thing.
Right.
Hilarious. You're going to have to do a right-hand jug handle 4 miles down the road to try and get to the other side of the fucking road. Like, the streets are so bizarre.
They're so weird. Actually, you could take a left on this street because it was kind of
that's
weird,
good.
but it was like the only left you could take. So, yeah, and then it was down 46, and then into Dover. Where was I going with this? Okay, so Joe was always around the school. Obviously, it's his school, but like he lived a couple blocks away, so he would actually walk to school, like downhill.
So he lived near not only the school, but you guys were like only like essentially a mile away in the mansion, like the dorms of Kubert School, right?
And then he probably lived like, if we were, I want to say we were west of the school a couple miles, and I'd want to say that he would be a couple miles south of the school. At least that was the direction that he came from. He walked a lot of days when it was nice out, but then sometimes he'd drive himself. But for the most part, he walked. So, you know, you could open the door for Joe Kubert one day and he'd be like, "Thanks, kid," and like smack you on the back. But like he had this crazy,
like you said.
Yeah, and he had this crazy old man strength. So like if he smacked you on the back, you just kind of like your soul exits.
You're like,
it was like a plate hitting the back of your back, like somebody just fucking
yeah.
A plate.
It's kind of like like an end game when Doctor Strange like takes Bruce Banner's body or
your
soul
entire
out of his body.
existence exits your physical being.
All you can do is say, "You're welcome, Joe."
No problem. So I guess and Joe was always cool, like to get a review on homework and stuff from. But like the best part of it was like you have Adam as a teacher first year. It worked out that I did have Adam, but I didn't have Andy second year, but I was supposed to. But our class was so big at the time. But it was like dwindling down as people were dropping out. And then third year, so like then everybody gets Joe third year, like no matter what. So it's the big year, third year, first assignment, and he's like, "All right, so not all of you are going to get jobs with DC and Marvel. So our first assignment is for you to write and pencil a cover and 5 pages of your own creation." And we were like, "What the fuck, Joe? We've got 9 other classes this week, and you just gave us a cover and 5 pages
in 1 week,
which is crazy.
It's 2 classes a week, so it's 2 classes a day, beginning and end of the day. It's like high school.
It's
hours.
intensive.
Yeah. Hearing that in college, I'm like, cool. I gotta find some way to just fake my death. But like now, I'm like, I could pull that off. Yeah, no problem.
No,
it's crazy that I think, looking back on it now, like how much
just pencils
shit I did. It was just pencils, but it had pencils.
That's like 2 days. I'm sorry.
For 5 pages?
I am shaking my head at both of them right now. Like, I'm so mad.
Well, not only that, we had Adam Kubert coming straight off his Action Comics run, where his backgrounds were assisted by Gabe Bridwell, and those backgrounds are fucking crazy. So, like, everyone's like, "All right, we got to draw like crazy backgrounds," and I love drawing crazy backgrounds.
It sets the bar. Well, for you, somebody who has actually done background work back in the day and things like that, like it
crazy.
Sets the bar. What a lot of people don't know while reading Big Two is that a lot of the Big Two comics not only have a penciler, but they also have an inker, and they also have somebody who is assisting with backgrounds and things like that. So I just want to make that very apparent while
I had no idea
the amount of work So that way it's not just like, oh yeah, you could totally do a DC Marvel level comic in a week. You cannot do that.
But
you could do an indie one. You shouldn't, but you can.
But like, well, that
you
was
can.
the crazy thing. There was like a time during my second year where I was doing a 3-page Spider-Man story, and I stayed up for literally 2 days straight doing these batshit backgrounds for.
No,
I have seen
were
your
so
commissions where people are like, put the Brooklyn Bridge in the background. You're like, okay, and it's a spot-on replica of the Brooklyn Bridge with Peter Parker in the foreground. That is insane. I'm sorry, but no, everyone else is canceled. Don't do it. Like, Gavin, do all my backgrounds forever.
I say I could do 5 pages in like 2 days, but I don't do perspective like that.
But also 9 other classes.
Yeah,
exactly.
you just don't do classes. 7 of the classes. That's the thing.
No, like that was the thing. You can't get below a C- or you're out.
So Joe wanted you guys to turn in not only 5 pages, but also a cover and write the script.
Yeah. So, and then like the next week was ink it. After that, ink and hand letter it. By the way.
Oh.
No.
Yeah. So then after 2 weeks, returning
I don't
in our
like
first assignment, and I had this sweet full circle moment where I was second up for critiques. My buddy Craig, who I still talk to a lot.
Is this Craig Cermak?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So he was like the way the class was set up. He sat in front of me. I sat behind him. And so we were in the same row. And so whenever we go up for critiques, Craig was first. I was next. So Craig went first, and Craig's awesome. So, and he's always been good. He was like one of those dicks that was like good straight out of high school.
So dudes just got it, and you're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So like he got a good review from Joe, and then Joe took my stuff, and I swear to God, it was exactly the same as the first time I met him.
Back in NYCC.
Yeah. So he takes it, doesn't say a word, up to his chest.
Flips back through like a record.
To the chest. There's something about that body language. You're just like, I'm not going to breathe till we're done. Yeah.
Sets it down back in his lap, looks at me, he's like, this is good stuff, and then gives me the smack on the back. I'm like,
woo! Yeah.
And like, and that was cool. Joe did play favorites, so I got to be on his good side early.
Oh, that's
so like
nothing wrong with that.
And if you weren't his favorite, oh boy, it was kind of like a fun little thing to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'd like to say that, going to that school and putting in the time that I did there changed my life drastically. Like if I hadn't done that, I don't think I'd have the skill or drive to be able to do what I do at the level that I do without their influence. So that'll always hold a special place in my heart, especially this year, because it's going to be the 10-year anniversary in May since I graduated. So thank you, Kubert. If anybody has any questions about the school, whether you think it's right for you, you can reach out to me. I might reply. Sometimes I do that. But I'll give you a critique of your work. I won't be mean, but I will be honest with you.
True Kubert style.
Yeah. As was done for me when I desperately needed it. So, yeah.
He'll flip the boards back to his chest and everything.
Yeah. But I'll be covered with like, Miller Lite. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cheese, Miller Lite, and all that stuff.
A little bit of bourbon.
Perfect.
Just some.
I just want to thank you for coming on to be willing to talk about your experience at the Kubert School, and also
thank you.
To share your wonderful experiences with somebody like Joe Kubert, but also to share your personal experiences about how you work as an artist, and obviously sharing about how great of friends we are, because that's always a great thing too. But also, to share a little bit of the like an introspection of what it's like to be a comics artist who has been trained by somebody who is big too famous, and like obviously continue to bring like such a good reputation to the name of the Kubert School and things like that, and like how you bring such a huge positive energy to comics in general. let alone whether it be your creator own or your other stuff, whether it be with heavy metal or anything. And Gavin, we love you very much.
Yeah.
You back mean it.
And we love Coco.
We love Coco.
Yeah, I love the clickety
Tapping
clack.
around back there. Yeah. She can't help
Yeah.
herself.
No, it's cool. It's
dog friendly show.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, we're gonna censor her toes because it's inappropriate.
She's
But
a magical ninja. She just showed up right underneath my feet. I don't know how.
Oh my god, I love her.
So sweet.
I thought she was out of the room. She's amazing.
So obviously, I have said many high praises about you online. I wear your merchandise. Well, I wear both your merchandises. But Gavin, we ask every guest how we met. And so I'm very interested to hear your experience based off of how we met.
How we met. I remember, I think a mutual friend of ours introduced us via Instagram or Twitter. And then we ended up hanging out at C2E2 a bunch, I think a couple years ago. And then from there, we were just like automatically best friends. And it was super quick. And I don't even know how it happened, but you infiltrated my life.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like almost like she just does that genuinely.
Liana just like automatically becomes everybody's best friend. And it's crazy.
The viewers can't see this, but I am in the middle of both your videos, and we all look like siblings, and we're all wearing matching beanies and outfits. It's a bit horrifying.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, the Ashley photo that you keep seeing circulating, but it's like kids that definitely look like siblings.
Liana, we already know. I saw a drawing of your brother in one of your books, and I was like, is that a drawing of me? Retroactively before you knew me. So.
And I constantly call Gavin, like, he would be my brother, like.
Mm-hmm. I've heard you say
comics,
that. Actually,
I've actually told people, and they believed.
Yeah, people have come up to me. And it's like, oh, so it's crazy. Both you and your sister draw comics, and at first, like, I without context, I'm like, huh? And they're like, Liana, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's that's my sister.
Because I'm always like, he's my bro, but they're like, so he's your brother? I'm like,
I could see it.
If you want to believe that, why not?
I've seen actual siblings that look less alike. But
we look kind of alike.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
we're convincing.
Yeah, I can buy it.
Yeah, especially in the same beanie.
Oh yeah.
But how Gavin, how did we meet, Gavin? Refresh my memory.
It was that one time that we haven't.
Summer of 1994, a year before I was born. That's right.
Okay, I was 9. No. I was kicking it in Mrs. Zelm's class at Holman Elementary School.
If you were in West Virginia, or if you were in Virginia Beach, Virginia Beach, in like whatever 9 months before May was, you met me.
Oh my god, I can't.
No.
I looked in the mirror and like my eyes just sparkled.
No.
Yeah,
we're pulling a little trick on the listeners. We haven't met yet. This is our first time meeting, and
so far a pleasure.
I don't want to spoil it, but I think we're hitting it off great.
Yeah.
Don't tell him I said that.
I feel like before we were recording too, I was yet again, dumbass, was like so sure that you both have met before.
No.
And you both were like, oh, Gavin was like, do you have this Webtoons lowball glass from Heroes or New York? And Matt was like, I was definitely at Heroes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, it was the same Heroes we were all hanging out. And Gavin like gave me a ride to the airport or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he was like, wait, you were at that Heroes? And so yet again, you were in the same vicinity. Yeah. And yet,
I feel like that would be more wild in a different career choice. We're all in the same sweaty like convention center at some point or another. Like we're all breathing each other's air. So I just didn't know it. So I guess
it's racking my brain though, like that I don't know which friend introduced us. Because now I'm like, I can't imagine. Was it James?
No. I think it was Gia.
Because I met. Yeah.
So I think maybe James introduced us in person.
In real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had already met James back when I met Eric for the first time.
Okay.
And like through Erica, actually. Meeting both James and Palicki at the same time.
Okay.
And having already had that, like, And then every time, obviously when you see James at a con, you're like, oh my God, James.
Where's
Again,
Gavin?
much like a brother.
Yeah, that's what you yell at James. Where's Gavin?
Oh, well, you guys are like a package to me. So
that's true.
It's, speaking of packages, sorry. You just, I feel like you have some pretty cool news to talk about.
Yeah, what's in the box?
Me?
Yeah. What's in the box?
Yeah, it's on me.
That I finished Dead Legends 2?
Okay,
Okay, yeah. Dead Legends 2 is completely done. It's been...
I am so proud of you.
Hell yeah.
The issues were done maybe a couple weeks ago. I probably finished at the start of the year inking it, and then I got behind on coloring because I just wanted to get to the next issue. So I colored like 2 issues back to back, 48 pages, which is kind of a nightmare. And
all day, every day,
all day.
I wake up coloring.
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks of coloring.
I feel I've got like 80 plus pages to color coming up, so I get it.
Yeah, it's like it sucks because then I'm trying to get back into the swing of drawing, and it's incredibly hard.
I'm gonna forget how.
Yeah, you do. It's crazy.
You skip 2 days and you're totally fucked. Like that's it.
I literally didn't draw for a day, and I was like, I can't do this. I gotta get a new job.
Yeah.
Guess I better go back. Oh my gosh. Well, so speaking of finishing Dead Legends, that means...
And I just finished all the covers and stuff, all done today.
So all of the issues are going to be coming out here soon?
I think in the fall is when the first issue drops. Okay. And then it's super quick after that. Like every 2 weeks, an issue drops on Comixology. And then...
Wow.
So it's like first issue, 2 weeks later, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5. And then 2 weeks after issue 5, the trade's out.
That's incredible.
It's
so
wild.
Essentially people can get, because your first trade actually came out middle of last year, right?
It was the end of 2019 in comic shops, end of 2019. The first issue came out like the week of New York Comic Con. Remember when Comic Cons were a thing?
Never heard of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that
this last year actually didn't exist. I don't know if you knew that. So
yeah, it was at New York Comic Con. The first issue came out, and then within that 2 months, the trade was out in comic shops, and then it hit the book market in January of 2020.
That must have been what it was.
Yeah.
Because I knew I had the issues already, but obviously you gifted me the copy here recently, and I was like, oh yeah, that definitely came out this year.
Right.
You know, as distribution works. So can people expect to see other, like, even though obviously on the horizon, Dead Legends 2 is coming out.
Yeah.
Can people expect you and James to work again together? Or is there any other like inklings of new projects that you can talk about?
We'll work together. Usually we've only done it twice, but I mean, like after the first volume, I took a little bit of a break and I did some other projects, just like some filler stuff. Like I did heavy metal. I did a couple issues of Accelerators, which is a series I've been on forever. And I think it was like a little mini comic for some independent horror movie.
I remember.
Yeah. So like I did that and then was able to jump into Dead Legends 2. So, assuming we get a 3, knock on wood, I think we do, but and that'll be
Tyler. I want it. I know the people want it, but just throwing that.
But yeah, like the 3 will be the last one. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Nah, they haven't told me I can't say anything, so whatever. Eric Paliki and I are doing a one shot for this Australian animation company.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, it's going to be pretty chill.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
You can also double check if you can't say it. We can censor it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's so fun. So
yeah.
We can just like long
bleep. Yeah. We're doing
with the long beeps.
Yeah.
Long live the beeps.
Yeah. So don't worry.
It's perfect.
That'd be good.
Well, where can we find you to be like notified daily about all of this? I need to know. You also need to post
Hourly.
daily, and hourly now.
Yes. So you can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Gavin P. Smith, or my website, which I should update more, but I don't, at gavinsmithcomics.com.
You can also buy his original artwork
Yes.
that is available on modernmythologycomicart.com.
Yes.
Oh.
And purchase yourself a copy of Dead Legends at awbw.com or your local comic book store. If they don't have it, you should be able to order it through Previews Diamond, and they should be able to get you one.
Hopefully you just walk up to the guy on the counter and say, hey, can you order this for me?
Yeah.
Super easy.
And they're like, we already got it. And they hand it to you.
Yeah.
Boom.
And if they don't do that, find a new comic store.
Yeah, call them massive nerds.
Yeah.
They'll know what to do. Yeah.
Boop, boop.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming over. My house is a mess, but thanks for sitting down at the table.
Yeah.
One of my BFFs in comics, my broski. So happy. Like, it makes me so happy that you were on, especially to share such a wonderful story.
I'm glad to be here.